Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Ekaterina, and on behalf of my colleagues, I'm presenting our paper, JeL, Breathing Together to Connect with Others in Nature. We're the School of Interactive Art Technology at Simon Fraser University in Vancouver, Canada, and this is us. I'll be presenting our system design and the initial evaluation of this system during the Digital Art Festival. Our main motivation for this research and design exploration stemmed from the importance of the experiences of connection, which are especially most parsed and talked about right now during the isolation and social distancing caused by the current pandemic. When we started developing JeL, we wanted to create a system that could foster the feeling of connection. Primarily, we aim to elicit a deep, intimate feeling of connection with others, mediated through the installation, but also the connection with oneself and our body, as well as the connection with nature. In our exploration of how technology can be used to elicit the feeling of connection, we've theoretically grounded ourselves in embodied social cognition. Specifically, we engaged with the notion of intercorporeality, which was introduced by embodiment philosopher and phenomenologist Maurice Merleau-Ponty. He states that our interpersonal interactions are fundamentally embodied, which means that they are best viewed not as a mind-to-mind interaction, but rather as a body-to-body interaction, where our ability to respond to and align our bodily states with others is what allows us to develop understanding, empathy, and connection. This is also evident from psychological research on interpersonal synchronization. We know that when we synchronize our movement, our breathing, or heart rate with others, we feel more connected to them. In order to explore how technology can be used in order to create these intercorporeal relationships, we used biofeedback technology to create a bioresponsive system that can engage our breathing in the interaction. Through this research and design process, we addressed the following research question: how can a bioresponsive immersive system be designed to promote the feeling of connection through the use of breath synchronization? And now I'm presenting you our system, JeL. JeL is a bioresponsive immersive installation that fosters connection through breathing synchronization. Immersants use a breathing sensor and a virtual reality headset or projection to interact. They find themselves in an underwater virtual world where a jellyfish swims with their breathing. The immersants collaborate, synchronizing their breathing to grow a coral, and together with others populate an initially empty coral reef. This meditative experience creates an intimate feeling of connection with others and with nature. So here's the signal processing and parameter mapping of JeL. Individual breathing captured by the sensor controls the various parameters of the jellyfish, and the breathing synchronization score, calculated between the two participants, controls the growth and the luminance of the coral. The soundtrack that the participants hear through their noise-canceling headphones is also responsive. A wave sound crashing into the shore matches participants' individual breathing, and when they synchronize, they hear a haunting whale call sound. It sounds like this. JeL, as an art installation, was exhibited at a digital art festival called Fan Palace Carnival of Mixed Realities in June 2019. This was an evening-long event where participants can explore various interactive exhibits and prototypes. During this event, we have collected some preliminary observations of how participants interacted with JeL. First, we needed to understand if JeL helps participants synchronize their breathing. So here you can see two exemplary interactions. The first pair of participants started from hectic, not synchronized breathing, but at the end of the first minute, they transitioned to slower paced breathing, and were able to achieve almost perfect synchronization. The second pair struggled through synchronization more. They started somewhat aligned, they became less synchronized, and then finally regained synchronization once more, but not quite to the same level as the first pair. Despite different pathways towards synchronization and different levels at which different pairs of participants were able to achieve it, in general, overall, across multiple interactions, the synchronization was increased for most pairs of participants. Here you can see that in the thick blue line, representing the average correlation score across multiple pairs of participants. While verifying that JeL supported increased synchronization was an important first step, ultimately, we're more interested in understanding how JeL mediates the interaction between participants on a more experiential level. Thus, we have asked a few participants to complete a questionnaire after their interaction. To see if they had a social experience during their interaction, we've assessed their social presence using Network Mind Social Presence Inventory. As you can see from their responses, generally more people felt socially present than not, across all dimensions of social presence. We've also asked them about their perceived effect of this installation in their relationship. And while the responses differ, manifold installation had an effect. Interestingly, this was stronger for participants who already knew each other prior to interacting with JeL. There was also a peculiar disbalance in the perceived behavioral independence, as most participants felt that the action of their partner affected what they did, but not vice versa. So they felt that they were trying really hard to synchronize with their partner, but that their effort wasn't equally reciprocated. In order to tap into connection with nature, we asked participants to choose a preferred draw prize for their participation. Among those choices, we had 2 choices related to nature and 2 not related to nature, but that otherwise were fairly comparable. Comparing the responses between JeL and another installation, we can see an indication of a trend that after interacting with JeL, participants seek more opportunities of experiencing nature. We can hypothesize that synchronizing their breathing with the jellyfish and collaboratively growing a coral elicited the feeling of connection with nature and made the participants seek more experiences of connecting with nature again. When we asked participants to describe their experience, they often said that it was relaxing and meditative, which was in contrast with the lively space of the festival. This could suggest that the immersion of the experience and the need to concentrate on one's breathing allowed participants to connect with their body and have some similar benefits as one may achieve from a breathing meditation. They have also described it as colorful, likely referring to the coral reef. Several participants also found it challenging and immersive, suggesting that focusing on their breathing and trying to achieve synchronization was requiring a lot of concentration and possibly contributed to challenge-based immersion. Now I will discuss a few takeaways from our design and observations. First takeaway is from our design process. In JeL, many parameters of the system were responsive to breathing, which required us to identify suitable mappings. While there are existing approaches such as metaphorical or isomorphic mapping, they were not suitable for mapping complex parameters such as jellyfish animation. Instead, we would create the visuals, then try to relax and immerse ourselves in the experience, and then reflect back and observe our own breathing and how it will naturally synchronize with the visuals. Something which was surprising to us was that providing participants with the goal to synchronize was often counterproductive to synchronization. While we thought that having a shared goal will help them collaborate and synchronize faster, in reality it often created a chasing behavior, where participants can never catch up with each other's breathing and only drift further away from synchronization, thus creating frustrating interaction. What worked better is not to tell participants about the goal of synchronization, but rather suggest they should explore the system as they would like. Then, when participants get into an immersive and relaxing state, it allowed for synchronization to emerge naturally. We also wanted to communicate an environmental message with JeL. While there are many digital art installations that share this goal, they often focus on showing the negative effect humanity has on the environment, thus eliciting the feeling of guilt and aiming to bring awareness to our impact on our planet. We opted for a different strategy, where we wanted to create a positive message through a positive experience. Here, through connecting with jellyfish and collaboratively growing a coral, we remind participants of our capacity to take care of the environment. This collaborative communal creation of the coral reef was especially appreciated by participants, providing them with a more meaningful and lasting experience, where they can come back to the installation to see their creation and show it to other attendees of the festival. This allowed for the immediate connection with their partner to be extended to all the other participants that interacted with JeL throughout the whole night of the event. So, here we have presented a design artifact that employs breathing to encourage synchronization, and uses the synchronization as a means for intercorporeal connection. We propose that this connection can be established not only with other people, but also with other creatures in nature through their virtual representation. Much more research and design exploration is required for validating and exploring the potential of this approach. We invite the design community to explore how can we engage here with bodies and breathing to create virtual spaces to form intimate connections that can extend beyond the medium and into the real world. If you want to connect with us, or you're interested in collaborating, feel free to follow us online or send us an email. Thank you, and hope to see you next year.